I was American born, and I'll die in American.
Welcome to our group.
Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Welcome to Defender 7.
Get Defender 7 now, and this ought to show it right here.
Do you or someone you know suffer from depression? If so, please contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our rescheduled medical broadcast from last night with your host and our Colonel, Kimberly Purvis. And I'm your co-host and General of the Defender 7, Bobby Ormsby. Welcome all. Now, before we get on with it, I'd like to go over our disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on Defender 7 radio show and Facebook page are those of the callers and or authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Defenders 7. Now, if you're new just tuning in to us, we do a lot of broadcasts here on Blog Talk. Right now, we've got Monday night, Tuesday night, Thursday night, and Saturday night. If there's a certain topic you'd like to cover, by all means, please hit one of us up. We're always looking for different topics to talk on. This is your radio station as much as it is ours. Now, for those of you that are new, we have a website with a store and a donate button on it. All lowercase letters, www.defenders, Roman numeral V as in Victor, with 2 small i's.com. 100% of the proceeds from our store sales and from any donations we bring in go 100% back to our communities throughout all 50 states in a time of need. So please, by all means, purchase something from our store or click that donate button. That's the only way that we're able to help our communities is your donations and your sales. Now, we can also be reached on MeWe by clicking on organizations and scrolling down to Defenders 7 American Humanitarian American Patriot Group. Yeah. Or on our Facebook national page by typing in the search box all capital letters, Defenders 7. Now, before you hit that join button, just know that we expect all of our members and our future members to participate in everything that we do throughout our group. That's training for disasters, survival, meet and greet, which is a face-to-face meet to get to know who's in your community and who you can count on when shit hits the fan or any natural disaster. Now, for tonight's show and on all the shows that we do here on Blog Talk, we enjoy it when you call in and give us your opinions. Just know everybody's opinion counts. You will not be berated. And that number to call, area code 914-205-5773. Again, number to call, area code 914-205-5773. I'm now opening the phone lines, and I'll be handing the microphone over to our Colonel, your host, Kimberly Purvis. And along with Kimberly Purvis, we also have our captain from Wisconsin, the slacker herself, Miss Lorna Munson.
All live. Welcome, Wisconsin. You know that's great, and I'm going to have to say it from now on every time you call in.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. No Minnesota. Nobody from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
How about
next door neighbor?
How about New Hampshire?
That's Boston, Massachusetts.
New
That's what we
Jersey.
called it when I lived in massive two shit.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was just going to say Massachusetts.
New Jersey.
Yeah. So before I get started, excuse me. I've been looking for ways to incorporate more people into the show and things like that. And this is something that I just thought about this just now, actually. I know a lot of radio shows, they do I don't want to say a birthday club necessarily, but call in if you know someone's birthday, anniversary, or whatever. Call us, give us the information, and we'll do a shout out to that person. And we're not singing happy birthday, okay? I just draw the line there.
We will.
Oh no,
We will.
We won't. I'll get. You know what? We'll get a recording and just play it. No, seriously. I mean, it's something if you guys would like, and I know a lot of people like hearing the name on the radio. Woo, it's not a big deal, but for kids it is. And the other thing I know with what's going on, everyone's like stressing and all this crap news. You don't even know what to believe anymore. So something that I want to do at the end of the show, and I already have one for tonight, and I'm going to call this section or this part, "You've got to be shitting me. You just can't make this up." And I want anybody, and I want everyone's input on this. Send me a picture, a link, a video. I don't care what it is, but it has to be the truth. Well, not the truth, but you know what I'm saying? Of someone saying something really stupid.
Lorna.
And tonight, yeah. But everyone needs a good laugh. So I figured that's how we can spend the last 10 minutes of the show, kind of give everybody a good laugh, because God knows we're going to need it in the next, who knows how long. So, but anywho,
I have some questions on some stuff.
Okay.
We're not answering them.
It's going to cost you. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. If anyone has any questions about anything, just call in and let me know, and I'll try to answer it.
All right. Okay, so this friend of mine, she had left her husband a while back, but now they're back together trying to make things work. And back in December, he started getting kind of weird. And now to the point where he makes her be quiet because people are listening. He's seeing drones everywhere, even dirt clumps of drones. He's called the cops on his neighbor 4 times because he thinks that he's got the drone spying on him. What the hell is that?
He could be either schizophrenic or paranoid schizophrenic. A lot of times, or just delusional.
And he's gotten to the point.
Brain injury.
True.
Well, see,
yes,
he was in a bad accident. He was in a really bad accident years ago, and he's permanently on Percocets.
Well,
and,
you know, if he takes too much, I mean, any medication could ultimately affect something of your body, your brain. But for having an accident a while ago, he would have tended to had something before now. But who's to say that it couldn't have caused? How old is he?
He's not even 50.
Oh, okay. Well, normally people don't become schizophrenic late in life. So
I think she said he's like 48 or 47.
Well, I mean, it could be a whole variety of things. Early onset dementia. I mean, anything like that. He needs to go and see a counselor or a shrink, actually, not a counselor. He needs to see a shrink.
And get a CT scan.
Yep.
Yeah, she said that there's no way to be able to get him into the doctor.
Yeah, it sounds like he does. I mean, anything can cause problems. Why someone would? I mean, the thing is, he could have been doing it when he did have his accident, and it could be progressively getting worse.
Yeah, I can't remember why she left him to begin with. He was, I can't remember. This is last summer's conversation.
But he needs to definitely have a CT scan and an MRI.
Yeah, but how do you get him in there if he's not willing to go?
He won't go to the doctor?
No, I guess you're lucky if you get him to even leave the house.
Or, I hate to say this, not saying he does. Syphilis causes your brain, they say, I've heard about this, it turns into like cottage cheese-like, okay? It's a simple antibiotic, and I think it's penicillin or one of those, and if someone gets syphilis and they don't let it get treated, it can make them just way out there. And sometimes
isn't that
become violent.
Disease?
Huh?
What syphilis? I don't remember what that is.
It's an STD.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But, huh?
That's what I thought. They've been married for quite a while. I mean, their one kid is like 17.
Hold on. How is it? Let me see something. It's a bacteria. Yeah.
I mean, their kids
aside from sex, it can also be transmitted skin to skin. If you have a cut and they do, and that's just, one other way. Let's see. See, it says it can last several days or weeks, but this says enlarged lymph nodes near the groin, small painless sores on the skin or anywhere in the body, a rash, fever, weight loss, hair loss, headaches, extreme tiredness, permanent brain damage, death. But I also know, penicillin, tetracycline, and doxycycline are the ones to use to treat that. But they can even get it from kissing. So, yeah. But if it's left untreated, it can
betting that it's
destroy your brain.
I'm still betting it's been taking the painkillers forever. I think
Yeah, but was he overdoing it?
She said no. She said he takes them only when he needs them.
Okay, hold on.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that he isn't sneaking them behind her back and not saying anything either, because she's at work and he's disabled.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. It can do some. I'm trying to find out. Here we go. Let's see.
He can't have a firearm, but there is a bunch of firearms in the house. But he's taking the BB gun and shooting shit.
Oh,
and she's worried about that he's gonna flip and do something to the kids or something.
Does he drink?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, some of the side effects can be nausea, vomiting, and confusion, but it all depends on his, like I said, on his tolerance. It's a high risk of addiction. Now, well, if he was taken off of it fast, it could cause irritability, insomnia, GI problems. I'm trying to think. I mean, he might be lying about what else he takes or how much. Oh, and it does cause hallucinations and delirium.
The medication?
Yeah, if he ODs on it. Now, when I say OD, not everybody ODs like till they pass out and they're in a coma. No, you could take too much all the time. But
I should have her take account of his pills
But also it can interact. It can have a bad interaction with other medications. And so if he's taking something else, or if he has, I'm just saying it can cause. See, like I take buprenorphine, whatever that. It's for anxiety and stuff. I cannot take MAOIs and benzos because, or Percocet, because I will have that reaction. That's why you need to, if he has any other medications that he takes, I don't care what it is, find out. Because one of my medications, I can't eat grapefruit with it.
Oh, wow.
Because of the reaction. Yeah. And the long-term use of it is on your endocrine system, and it can cause sexual dysfunction, absence of periods, or infertility. So, and don't forget, it's also got Tylenol in it too.
Yeah.
But it does say it can cause hallucinations.
Yeah, because she said that he's got blankets over the windows and he hides out.
Yeah. He needs to. I'd have her find out if he's on other medications. Find out if it interacts with it. And if it's not the Percocet, he could have early onset dementia. He could have other.
Or schizophrenia.
Yeah, but it's kind of, it's not common. I'm not saying it can't happen, but it's not common for someone to, I mean, unless he's always acting weird and it's just not showing up more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if I could spell it. Here it is. I spelled it wrong. Yeah, see, this says it's usually around 25 when someone. But here you go, and I could send this to you, and she can read it. it causes a person to appear out of touch with reality. He could also be bipolar. So
yeah,
and that can happen at any time.
right.
So you know, I mean, it's just one of those things. He has to have, and I've got plenty of books on it. Is he like this? He has to be like this all the time.
Yeah,
for a month and some over 6 months.
Well, she
Delusion.
said it's gotten really bad since December, and she said he's not too bad during the daytime because the kids are there to tell her. But at nighttime, he will not sleep. He'll peeking out the windows, and he's got flashlights galore.
He might have Alzheimer's. It's called sundowners. Because normally schizophrenics are like that all day long. So I know a paranoid. Actually, my ex-brother-in-law is paranoid schizophrenic, and that son of a bitch was like that 24/7. And things like Alzheimer's, dementia. A lot of times, Alzheimer's, you get that sundowners, and at night, or as soon as the sun goes down, they lose their shit. I mean, you just can't. And they don't. Here's the thing: they don't even have to be outside. It's like their body automatically knows it. You know what I'm saying? Because in nursing homes, not all of them are all well lit up and stuff. I mean, I've worked for some that was in a hospital, and there really wasn't all that much sunlight. You had more artificial lighting.
Alzheimer's, that's more of forgetting things, but does it actually cause hallucinations?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Usually, like I said, schizophrenics don't act like that just at night. Let me see. Hold on. Damn it. Hold on. Oh, come on. There's I could spell. Alzheimer's cause hallucinations. Wow, they heard. Oh, okay.
Because I know my grandma had Alzheimer's, but she's stuck in one area where her kids are little.
Okay. So this is possible causes of hallucinations in Alzheimer's. They could have dementia, hallucinations that occur with delirium, schizophrenia, major depression, alcohol or drug intoxication, or withdrawal. So it can. And so, but like I said, schizophrenia is all day. Yeah. Alzheimer's, they're on and off during the day. They're more lucid during the day, but like I said, but in the evening and at night, they just, I don't know, it's like their clock gets shut off or something.
Right.
But the thing, now there's dementia and there's Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's patients have dementia, but dementia, you don't have to have Alzheimer's. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like the nausea, vomiting, constipation, diarrhea. It kind of goes with everything. But, and I'm not, look, guys, I don't know if anyone is a liberal, a Democrat, or whatever. Look at Joe Biden. The thing about him, it's not just dementia. And I think he really does have Alzheimer's or the beginning stages, because usually Alzheimer's patients will walk around the way he does. And they stumble with their words, because I've taken care of a lot of Alzheimer's patients. And that's exactly what he looks like. He has dementia, yes, but I really think he's got the beginning of Alzheimer's. Because he's also aging fast.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't noticed how fast he's been aging in the last year or so, he doesn't look like the way he used to. So, and my 2 cents on that is his wife should be ashamed of herself for allowing him to have even pursued it, because that's elder abuse right there. And that's disgusting. But hey, that's neither here nor there. So I'm off my soapbox. What else did you have a question about?
That was it.
Oh, you said questions, so I thought.
Well, I know it could have turned to many different topics, so I added the in question.
Oh. Oh, trust me, I know how to go from A to Z real quick. Or 1 to 100. 1, 2, skip a few, 99, 100. That's me. That's my brain. Okay, I'm like a freaking goldfish. So basically, I know everybody has had some issue with bone and joint diseases, muscle problems, at some point in time in your life. Now, if you're military, yes, this is you and me, and veterans are all alike. Athletes do have a lot of this issue too. It's just from overuse of bones or joints and things like that. But from a traumatic leg fracture to gradually worsening arthritis of the hand, disorders that affect the bones and joints come from many forms. And without proper treatment, it could lead to a more severe problem, which either it can become a disability. And it can also result in needing surgery sometime down the line. I know from personal experience with the VA, they don't like the S word. God forbid that you bring up surgery. They give you the Motrin and water, go away. And then 6 months later, come back. And then they'll do physical therapy, that's normal, but they wait too long. You know what I'm saying? So if you have an injury of any kind, well, one, yes, if it's that bad, go to the emergency room. But usually take your Motrin, Tylenol, whatever, hot and cold packs. And if it's not improved within a week, call your doctor. Because then the next step is physical X-rays, MRI, CAT scan if you have to have it, and then physical therapy. And then after it's usually around 6 months, they're going to need to know if you need surgery. And if surgery is not going to fix it, then it's pain management. And a lot of people suffer with long-term chronic pain. So most people, like your wrist, your shoulders, your knees, ankles, your finger joints, those are the ones that, they move with ease. They don't have problems unless, you broke it. Your thigh bone or your femur and your humerus, which is your upper arm, those are also for movement. And you may not have a problem with the joint, but you can have a problem with the muscle and the tendon. So if you pull a muscle, that can affect how you walk or how you use your arm or even your back. I know the going joke, and yes, I know it's not true. When you lift something up off the ground, you always squat down and bend with your knees. And the joke is, bend with your back. Your back is your strongest muscle in your body. No, it's not. It's a joke. It's not really. But you should pick things up by squatting down, and you hold it closer to your body, and that avoids, or if it's too heavy for yourself and you know it strains, have someone else help you. Guys, some women, they want to do it all themselves, but always have someone help you pick it up. And so you don't get hurt. So you have several other bones that protect vital organs, and like your skull protects your brain. And there's technically more than one hole to your skull. You have the one at the bottom, and that's where your spinal cord goes through. And then you have your eye sockets, your nasal, and your ears. Let's see. Bone marrow produces blood cells, and bone provides storage for minerals like calcium and release a hormone that helps control blood sugar levels. And with all the way bones contribute to good health, bone disease can interrupt or disrupt your entire body. And I'm going to get into the bone problems here in just a second. Since the joints are made up of two bones coming together, or what they call articulating, there's a lot of overlap between their diseases. So if you damage the bone, that's when the joint, the tendons, and the muscles around it can be affected over time. So joint disease to exacerbate the problem that a patient may have. So let's see. So here's some bone disease types. Osteoporosis. And anybody at any age can have osteoporosis. Now, the younger you are, chances are it's probably going to be from another illness or a hereditary disease that could cause osteoporosis, like brittle bone disease or something else like that. But osteoporosis involves bone loss, and that's when your bones get weaker. So it's an invisible condition, and more than 53 million people in the United States they either have it or they're at a high risk for having it. And so that's why a lot of people, get your calcium, your vitamin D, and that helps build strong bones. My uncle, he said he takes so much calcium and vitamin D that his bones are probably so dense he could probably fall through the floor. I mean, so mostly women end up with their bones that are really, brittle, and that's why you see a lot of elderly with broken hips and things like that when they fall. Metabolic bone disease. Osteoporosis is one of the several metabolic bone diseases, and it's a disorder of bone strength caused by mineral or vitamin deficiencies like vitamin D, calcium, and phosphorus. And that results in what kind of word is abnormal? Bone mass or structure. Osteomalacia is the softening of bones. Your bones are supposed to be nice and hard and firm. Well, osteomalacia just makes them spongy. They're really soft. And that's when you can hyperextend a joint or bone, and it breaks easy. Hyperparathyroidism is an overactive gland leading to bone calcium loss. I did not know that. Paget's disease. I'm going to be going over some of these too, like Paget's disease, where it's abnormally large and it's weak. And then there's developmental bone disorders affecting children, like I was saying. So a fracture is just exactly what that is, a fracture. They're usually due to trauma, but it can be caused by bone cancer. So, that's why it's important to have, if you just got a bone, and sometimes if you're not doing anything and you sit down or you just simply fall, and I'm not talking from a high height, like say if you fall out of your chair and you break a bone. Yes, your doctor's going to go ahead and check, why did you break your bone that easy? And that's when they're going to start doing all the blood work and everything else like that. Okay. Children's bones are more flexible and more resilient, and fractures heal more quickly in kids. Usually, it takes about 6 weeks to heal a bone fracture, unless you're older. And I'm going to say, this is not a definite. Depending on your health at the time, people over 70 tend to take longer. Now, I'm not saying people like Bobby, who's in his 60s. Really, Bobby?
You funny.
Yes, already.
You funny.
I had to throw that in there. But no, really.
Lauren is older.
It's horrible to think about. If you're in your 70s, and I've taken care of a lot of nursing home patients and home health, when someone is in their 70s, And if they're not in great health to begin with, if they have a hip fracture and they're not out of bed moving around before a year, the chances of them dying faster is extremely high. I don't know. It's just because they're like, oh, I can't move, I'm done. And they give up. It's like a mental thing. I had a lady who was like 85 years old. She fell, broke a hip. She did not get out of bed right away, and she died within a year of the hip fracture. So, but like I said, age has a lot to do with it, and your health has a lot to do with it as well. Most children, when they break a bone, usually it's from sports. Or if you're like most Gen X and you do stupid crap and you end up with a broken bone because, which is why most of us in the 80s, there's no record of what we did, okay? I'm surprised I didn't have any broken bones. But I must have dense bones. But some fractures in children can be from child abuse as well. Normally not a regular fracture. Normally it's a spiral fracture. And that's if someone grabs their arm and they twist and the bone will spiral. It's like a spiral fracture, and that's what that is. A stress fracture is also called overuse fractures, and that's more common in active athletes or runners, the military. We had shin splints and stress fractures in our feet. I mean, it was awful. But thank God I never had to deal with that. So bone cancer, cancer that starts in the bone is primarily called bone cancer. It's rare, and it's less than 1% of all new cancers diagnosed. Cancer that spreads to the bones from other parts of the body is more common. That's when it's metastasized. I just lost my place. Metastatic tumors from the prostate or breast cancer. Multiple myelomas. It's a type of blood cancer that interferes with the bone marrow function. So that's the ones that's usually it goes to the bone. So it's very rare for it to start in the bone itself. Scoliosis, I'm sure everybody, are they still testing for scoliosis in schools? Where they have you bend over and they take, they do it in they go in the girls' gym and then they go in the boys and they take that little thing and they slide it down your spine. Do they still do that?
I don't know if they still do it.
I don't think
know
so.
if they still do it.
Oh, okay. I remember me having to have it done. Honestly, I don't even know if my kids had it checked, or had it checked at school, I should say. I don't know if that's just something, unless the doctors do it now. But that's when your spine is like an S or a C-shaped appearance when you're looking at them from behind. And normally it's diagnosed as an infant or a child, and it can persist into adulthood. So here's some joint disease types. Any questions so far? Everybody good? Any callers? Any takers?
No questions here.
Okay.
Free beer.
So arthritis. I call it arthritis is a leading cause of disability worldwide. By 2040, nearly 80 million people in the United States will have some form of arthritis. And I call bullshit on that. And the only reason why I say that, 80 million people by 2040, there's 325 million people in the U.S. right now. I find that hard to believe that that's not more like 100 million, if not more. Anybody at any age can get arthritis. Like I said. So it falls into two basic categories: osteoarthritis and autoimmune joint disease, and they have contrasting causes and symptoms, and they do need different types of care. So osteoarthritis is the most common type, and that's wear and tear, where it increases with age. And the cartilage that normally cushions the joints, it breaks down. So you'll see carpenters that end up with arthritis in their knees because they're always on the knees and wearing a tear. And I know they use that thing where they have to kick with their knee, that thing that pushes the molding on the floor. Carpenters will have it in their hands. Electricians end up with it in their hands. A lot of seamstresses. I'm trying to think of what else. Actually, in the Army, or actually the military, with all the ruck marches and all the running, we'll have it in your hips, your knees, your ankles. Basically, it's anything that you overuse your joints. Okay, that's pretty much it. People in their 50s and older are more likely to develop this chronic progressive disease, and women are more vulnerable. Rheumatoid arthritis, that's an autoimmune condition, and that affects the lining of the joints. The cells of the immune system that normally don't belong in the joint accumulate there in large numbers. That is very debilitating. I've taken care of a lot of rheumatoid arthritis patients, and that's when your fingers, they can become misshapen, and the fingers will turn. Knees, they do look larger than the leg. So as the immune cells interact with the local joint cells, it causes an ever-increasing inflammation. And then there becomes a damage and destruction of cartilage and bone. And spondyloarthritis or spondylitis is an umbrella term for that covers other rheumatoid diseases. And I actually had this, and I didn't even know it. And it's also called ankylosing spondylitis, and that's where it leads to spinal fusion, and it also causes possible complications with IBD, ulcerative colitis, and things like that. It's also your spine is slightly twisted. And mine is my L4 and 5. And when the military did all their x-rays and all that crap, nobody found it. Come to find out, I had it when I was a child and never knew. It's a pain in the ass, really. I have a good 15 minutes, and my lower back is in so much pain that I can't move. And I actually have to sit down. And that's why they say Motrin, but it don't do crap. I just lost my place again. So there's also psoriatic arthritis, and that's also associated with psoriasis, and that's usually of the joints of the hands and feet. Juvenile idiopathic arthritis or juvenile rheumatoid arthritis is the most common chronic joint condition in children. It's an autoimmune condition, and that's where the child's immune system attacks the body within its own healthy tissue. It's called idiopathic. Sorry about my dog, who's being a retard. I got to go get the door. Oh, my God. Sorry about this. Oh. The door was open, Pat. Yeah, it would. Okay. Let's see. Okay, it may also affect the muscles, joints, and ligaments and internal organs, even down to the eyes. So lupus is an autoimmune condition that affects part of your body, including your skin, your internal organs, blood, brain, bones, and joints. And lupus can trigger arthritis. Particularly, it's in your hands, elbows, shoulders, head and shoulders, knees and toes. I just had to say that. People with lupus with their autoimmune, they really do have to worry about getting sick with even colds, because with them, they could get sicker. Gout is a type of arthritis. Most affects the joint connecting the big toe to the rest of the foot. That's it. It's an excess of uric acid. It's a waste product in the blood, and it forms crystals in the joint. And if you have gout, my grandmother had it, my dad's mom had it, and she was told she had to give up pork and milk, and she said no, she wasn't going to do it. And so she would just have flare-ups every now and then. And there is a medication that you could take for gout if you get it. Bursitis is the inflammation of the small fluid sacs called the bursa that cushion your joints and the surrounding tendons. A lot of people get it in their hips, elbow, and shoulder. And sometimes bacterial infections can cause bursitis. So some of the causes and risk factors: age, occupation, activity level, environmental factors, and genetics all play a role in bone disease. Let's see, people who work on their feet all the time, whose jobs involve heavy labor or at a higher risk of bone conditions. Also nurses, because you're on your feet all the time. Machine shop workers. Who else is on hard floors as well?
Who works on hard floors? I'm on cement all day.
Huh?
I'm on cement floors all day.
Well, what do you do?
I do multiple things.
Keep her feet up on the desk.
Tape making machine.
Keeps her feet on the
make
desk.
those?
No.
So basically, warehouse workers, factory workers, nurses, and cops. And if you're a beat cop, you're always walking on the concrete, and that's why they end up with flat feet as well. But that's pretty much. I mean, people like landscapers, they walk on the grass, the dirt, and it's not that hard, surface like concrete. So, So, okay, low sun exposure and low vitamin D also contribute. And I'm surprised after this last year, more and more people don't end up with it because they're being told they got to stay inside because they're not getting any sunlight. So too little activity puts people at risk for osteoporosis as well. So, and it's on the rise, especially on your weight-bearing joints like your hips and knees. And obesity can also add to it. Let's see. So some of the symptoms. How and when bone pain occurs or subtle changes and how a joint looks and feels. Oh, shit. I put a pencil. Can indicate which type of condition you might have. So if you get stiff joints, right, arthritis. Decreased range of motion, arthritis. Decreased joint function, arthritis. If you get bumps or small, it says, on small finger joints, it's possible osteoarthritis. If you get soft, warm, painful swelling of both your wrists and your hands, it's a sign of rheumatoid arthritis. Persistent morning joint stiffness, rheumatoid arthritis. fatigue and whole body symptoms, rheumatoid arthritis. Bone pain at rest, it's usually systemic conditions like cancer. Bone or joint pain with activity is overuse injury. All right. A gradual loss of height or stoop posture is osteoporosis. There's a lot of people that shrink with age, especially if you have osteoporosis. Unexplained back pain, osteoporosis. See, a shoulder or hip that's higher than the other, usually it's a sign of scoliosis. And leg length discrepancy. I don't know if you've ever noticed some people might have a longer leg than the other, and they have to wear their shoes are two different heights. That could be from many different things. So basically, it's if you notice you have a problem, don't let it go too long. Go and see your doctor, and they can do X-rays, MRIs, and ultrasounds, blood work. There's also a bone density scan. It's called a DEXA scan, and that's also used to evaluate osteoporosis. So, and like I said, it depends on your medical exam, what they find. You may go from your primary care to a specialist, and then they may send you to an orthopedist or orthopedic surgeon or a rheumatologist. So, or they actually have orthopedic oncologists as well. And sometimes you may need to go and see an occupational therapist. Oh, let's see. So, physical activity. It may seem counterintuitive, but physical activity is important for treating and managing conditions like arthritis and preventing complications. So, there is resistance training exercises, and that improves the strength around the joints. Know what your limits are. That's why you have to ask your doctor or a physical therapist. They'll tell you, so say you have a back injury, and moving side to side may help one part of your back, but moving like bending over forwards or backwards may hurt more. Don't do it. Just know your limits. You know, you could do it once or twice, like bend forward and hold it, and like that. So just make sure you get checked with your doctor. So let me go to the other. Oops. I'll make sure I don't duplicate what I was already talking about. Okay, here we go. Fibromyalgia. A lot of doctors, this has been a debate amongst doctors for many years. A lot of doctors say it doesn't exist. And you can argue with them till they're blue in the face, and they'll tell you fibromyalgia does not exist. But it does. Fibromyalgia is a chronic disorder that causes widespread pain and tenderness and a bunch of other symptoms. So they normally consider it an arthritis-related condition. It's not truly a form of arthritis because it does not cause inflammation or damage to the joints. So it can cause significant pain and fatigue, and it may interfere with your ability to carry on daily activities, and it impairs the joints and or soft tissues that cause chronic pain. And there's not a whole lot of, let me see the treatment. Basically, they could put you on medications, lifestyle change, and they call it complementary therapy to whatever you may need. Let's see. So duloxetine, it's an antidepressant. I don't know why they'd give you an antidepressant, but hey, let's see. It's called milnacipran, and it's similar to an antidepressant, but it's only used or approved to treat fibromyalgia. And pregabalin treats neuropathic pain. So, and I'm trying to think if they would use, well, they use NSAID, like Aleve, or naproxen sodium and things like that. But I'm trying to think, what's the other one for nerve pain? Gabapentin and things like that. I'm not sure if I know back in the day they used to use that. But they recommend getting enough sleep, exercise, eating well, and you could also do Pilates or get a massage, go to get chiropractic treatments, acupuncture. Acupuncture is awesome. It not only helps, it actually helps other illnesses, not just bone and muscle problems. I don't know what it has to do. I don't know what it does, but acupuncture does it's really good. Okay. Oops, let's get out of that one. Okay. And we mentioned Paget's disease. Okay. So Paget's disease is a disorder that causes bones to grow too large and weaken. All right. So it's a chronic disorder that will cause your bones to grow larger and become weaker than normal. And it usually only affects one or a few bones, but most of them is your pelvis, your skull, your spine, and your leg bones. Many people with Paget's don't experience symptoms specific to the disease. However, it can cause bone pain, misshapen bones, broken bones, inflammation and arthritis in the joints close to the affected bone. So what happens with Paget's, throughout your lifetime, your body consistently removes old bone and adds new bone to the skeleton. And as we age, it's normal for this process to happen at a slower pace. So the body loses more bone than what it makes. And as Paget's progresses, new bone forms at a faster rate than at a rate that the old bone is removed. And also sometimes it causes the bone to not form correctly. And that's where a lot of the pain will come in. All right, let's see what the treatment is. Okay, if you do not have any symptoms, you may not need treatment. But if it's active and you have symptoms, dog. So the goal of your treatment is to slow down or stop bone breakdown and formation, lower the risk of complications, bone and joint pain, repair fractures, and correct the bone deformity. So that's usually medications, surgery, exercise, and diet. That's usually how they fix it. Let's see. I'm just trying to read here real quick. Doesn't talk about that. But yeah, sometimes it requires surgery. And there is a vitamin D and calcium, how much you need to have per day, from infants all the way up to over 70. And like I said, I'll post this on our national page. Well, gotta love technology. Okay, fibrous dysplasia. And that is when healthy bone is replaced by other types of tissue. So bones may become weak or oddly shaped, or they may even break. So sometimes it can lead to fractures. And some people who have fibrous dysplasia have no symptoms or only a few. And usually it's in one bone. And sometimes they may have it in more than one. So and the disease may occur alone or as a part of a condition known as McCune-Albright syndrome, which affects the bone as well as the skin and the endocrine hormone-producing tissues. And there's no cure for it. And they have treatments to relieve pain, and physical therapy may help to strengthen the muscles and improve your range of motion. So basically, you end up with it when a gene mutates while the baby's developing in the womb, and then the change is in the changes in the gene-causing bone formation cells to fail to mature. Instead, they produce abnormal fibrous tissue in certain bones because the gene change happens while the baby's developing. So usually it's within the first 5 to 6 months. Most of the forming is within the first 3. It can affect any bone in the body, but for some people, it occurs on one side of the body, or your skull, and it could happen to like your femur, and the tibia and the fibula, the humerus, the pelvis, and your ribs. All right, I think I'm almost done with that. Let's see. Growth plate injuries. Maybe.
That's Lorna for sure.
know nothing about that.
That's Lorna for
What,
sure.
growth plate injuries?
Workplace injuries.
I thought you
I
said
didn't say
workplace
plate.
injuries.
I said growth plate.
Growth plate.
Damn it. We know you don't work. No, that's Weathers.
Yeah, Lorna doesn't either.
Okay, so the growth plate is the area of tissue near the ends of the long bones in children and teens, and that determines the future length and shape of the mature bone. Your kid could be sprouting like a freaking weed and then get an injury to the growth plate, and bam, they stop growing. I just got lost again. I'm having an issue tonight. For example, the femur, the thigh bone, the radius, and the ulna, and the metacarpal bones are long bones. And once your child's growth is complete, sometime during adolescence, the growth plates close, replaced by solid bone, which is kind of like, I don't want to say it's kind of like, on an infant, they have the soft spot, and then over months and months, it eventually closes, and then it has the sutures, and then your skull is completely closed. Well, same thing with the growth plates. Let's see. The growth plates are weak in areas of your child's growing skeleton because they're weaker than the nearby ligaments and tendons that connect the bones to the other bones and muscles. And the growth plates are very vulnerable to injury. And it can result from a single traumatic event: a fall, car accident, chronic stress and overuse. So say your child is a gymnast or a soccer player, football player, things like that, where you're constantly overusing. And then that's why I want to think that that's why gymnasts are so damn short. Because of all the training they do and overuse, and they just traumatize their bones and their hormones. Children and teens with a growth plate injury need immediate treatment. I mean, like as of yesterday. So you don't want to mess around with those types of injuries in children. Oh wow, that's all it says. Okay, next, seeing as a lot of people have shoulder problems, we'll go into shoulder problems. So most shoulder problems happen when soft tissue injuries, soft tissues in the joint and shoulder region break down. And it's a ball and socket. And, you can move your arm forwards, backwards, up and down, and a circle and all that cool stuff. How cool, and they have a little diagram. How nice of them. And so your muscles help your bones move, like your leg and your hip and all that, and then you have the ones in your shoulders and your arm. So in ligaments which attach the shoulder bones to each and provide stability. The rotator cuff, and that's made up of tendons and muscles and holds the ball at the top of the arm bone and the socket, which a lot of people end up with a torn rotator cuff. A lot. And that could be from anything. Overuse. A lot of athletes, if you overuse it, carrying excessively heavy items and things. So let's see the types. Okay. So you can have a dislocation, and that's when the ball pops out of the socket. A separation is when the ligaments between the collarbone and the shoulder blade tear. Oh, that just sounds painful. Rotator cuff disease, you can have, it could be tendonitis and bursitis, and that's when the shoulder becomes red, inflamed, sore, swollen, and it's really painful, especially to sleep. A torn rotator cuff is a tear in the tendon. Frozen shoulder or adhesive capsulitis, it's exactly what it says. Your shoulder can't move. Or it's very restricted. You don't have very much range of motion. And a fracture is a crack or a break in a bone, usually the collarbone or the upper arm bone. I believe I've covered the types of fractures, didn't I? At one point or another. Bobby, do you remember? Come on. You're supposed to remember everything.
Yeah, I believe you did.
Yeah. I'm trying to find out. I got my little book here, and I'm going through it, and I'm going to slap a dog. Can you hear him bark, by the way? Can you guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
You can hear him bark? Sorry. Well, You guys are slow, man.
I had to go back through a bunch of screens.
Huh?
I had to go back through a bunch of screens.
Oh. So you have, there's so many different types of fractures. There's a compound fracture, an open fracture, closed fracture, say spiral, compound. Yeah, there's so many. There's where the bone breaks through the skin. That's an open. There's compartment syndrome. Shit. And that's really dangerous. Compartment syndrome is really dangerous. And I might go into other things if I can get this stupid computer to catch up. Let's see. Did I go over? Okay. Heritable disorders of connective tissue. I don't know why they just didn't say inheritable to begin with. But there's more than 200 conditions that affect the tissues between cells that give tissues form and strength. Oh, no. My bad. It's just called heritable, not inheritable. I was thinking they used the wrong word, but oh well. Some gene defects that alter the proteins that make up connective tissue. and that can alter normal function of your connective tissue, which is bringing nutrients to the tissue. It gives the tissue form and strength, and it also helps them to do their work, which, let's see what types. Oh, Lord. Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is can be caused by defects in several genes, and that could be in the collagen, the major protein building material of the bone. It's the epidermolysis bullosa that affects the skin, and that makes your skin blister easy. I'm wondering if that's like Stevens-Johnson syndrome. I had a patient who had the blisters, and we treated it, and no matter what, it just kept spreading and spreading and getting worse. Oh, never mind. That's on the inside of the body. So, Marfan syndrome, it's a defect in the gene that produces a protein important to connective tissue. People with Marfan syndrome tend to have tall, thin build with long arms and legs and spider-like fingers. And it also includes a sideways curve of the spine, crowded teeth, flat feet, abnormal position of the eye lens, and enlargement of the beginning part of the aorta. Wow. I've met one person with that, with Marfan. And osteogenesis imperfecta, and it's a defect in the gene that makes collagen. So people with that have fragile bones, low muscle mass, loose joints, and ligaments. So, and a couple other things. Moving right along. Maybe. Okay, my computer just decided it didn't want to work anymore. Okay. Spinal stenosis. Basically, it's a narrowing of the spine. Spinal stenosis happens when the spaces in the spine narrow, and that's when you get pressure on the spinal cord and the nerve roots. And there's a whole bunch of nerves that go right through your spine. And that's why it's very dangerous. Well, I guess you'd say dangerous, like if someone needs a spinal tap or an epidural, because the anesthesiologist has to go through the bones and the cartilage and things like that. And so I know when I had an epidural, he touched my spine, the nerve, and you can feel the tingle throughout your body. So the spinal canal, the hollow space in the center of each vertebrae, is where the roots run through the spinal canal. The canals are at the base or the roots of the nerve branches out from the spinal cord. Let's see. So I don't know if everybody knows this, but there's many different structures of the anatomy of the back. Your cervical spine, the very top part, C1 through 6. And if you sever or if you sever your spine at your C1 and 2, you're dead. Because that's where your breathing is at. It's right there. There's no saving a person that severs their spine there. But the farther down you go will depict your thoracic spine is pretty much your whole back, and your lumbar spine is the last, I think it's 7 vertebrae, the very bottom, and then you have your sacrum and your coccyx. When someone says they feel like they broke their tailbone, it's the coccyx, and there's that little V at the very bottom, and it has a few little bones. I think it's 3. I'm not 100% sure. I forgot. Because there's like 305 bones in your body, I believe. Let me look it up real quick. Bones. Body. Yeah, I broke my coccyx when I was in basic training, and I still can't sit down right. It never healed. Nothing really. There's nothing you could do about your ass bone, to be honest. When I'm oh, here it is. So I have to open this up because I'm blind. Open. There it. Lord have mercy. Sorry about the technical difficulties, guys. I'm not going to go through all the bones of the body. I wanted to find out how many.
Oh, I think you should. There's only a couple.
Yeah, I know. Cervical, spine. Here, this is what I was looking for. So it's, Jesus, this print is so tiny I can't even friggin' see it. Okay, so it's C1 through C7. There is 7. And then your thoracic is your T1 to T12 and L1 to L5 and the sacrum and the coccyx. And let me tell you something, like I said, don't break your ass bone because it hurts. It's like when you sit down for too long, it's 4 tiny, tiny little bones. And if you chip one of the very tip, like what I did, when I get up, that one spot on my tailbone, right at the butt crack, it hurts. It's very painful to get up. But cervical spondylosis is you get bone spurs and reduced disc height and inflammation. And I will actually post this picture because this is pretty cool. And they come with what it's called is soldier's neck. And even though they said it has nothing to do with being a soldier, but it's your spine will curve the opposite direction that it's supposed to. Like your cervical, it's supposed to bow out. Well, with what they call soldier's neck, it goes in the opposite direction. It becomes concave. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Participation trophy. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Bobby is sleeping.
Okay. I guess. But yeah.
No.
Okay. No. Too bad.
Okay, he's slacking.
I know, huh? So hip replacement surgery. Now sometimes, and this is the same thing with your knee. Sometimes they'll either replace the whole thing, or depending on what's damaged or how much is damaged, they'll replace the whole thing. And I believe they're going to titanium now. So
yes, they are. That's what I heard.
Yeah, and so this is what my doctor said. You might have to have hip replacement surgery. No, I won't. I've seen no. Man, they have you out of bed the next day, and I'm like, no, no. But usually people with severe osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and osteonecrosis, which means the bone is dying, or the bone supply, or the blood flow to your hip is dying. That's what necrosis is dying or dead. Now, it could either be because of a fracture or from a bone disease. And the general goal is to relieve the person of pain. I would hope so. If you could have titanium hip, become the $1 million man or woman or the bionic woman, because if they start replacing body parts like that, and it's also to increase your mobility. Let's see. So the main part of most hip replacement that fits against the bone, the socket and the stem are made of metal. So it says a metal ball with a plastic socket lining, a ceramic ball with a plastic socket lining, or a ceramic ball with a ceramic socket or lining. But then you have the whole entire hip they can replace. Same thing with the knee. Just because of complications, surgeons rarely use metal on metal simply because of friction and what can happen. So, cemented replacements, which fasten the artificial parts of healthy bones with a special glue or cement. I wonder if they use Gorilla Glue like that chick did on her hair. You hear about that chick who used Gorilla Glue on her wig?
Yeah, how stupid is that?
She got $20,000 in donations. People sent her. And you know what she did with it? She went out and bought a Benz. Or put it down.
Oh, I thought she went and bought more glue.
No, I mean, come on, people. Okay. Let's see. Well, like I said, hip replacements, the older you get, you need to get up and moving faster. You don't want to lay in bed. Let's see. Oh, my God. I read this so fast. I thought that said brains and strains. Jesus, it's sprains and strains. There is a difference between a sprain and a strain. I don't know if you knew that. So a sprain is a stretch and or tear of a ligament. A strain is an injury to either the muscle or the tendon. So it all depends. Semantics, whatever you want to call it. You know, I don't know if you've got, I'm sure you have. People, they say they're double jointed. Have you heard that phrase, double jointed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Woo. I'm telling you, you guys are like, are you on a time limit? How long it takes you to answer? The person
I have a time lapse because I'm in Wisconsin.
Because she's
I'm
in
in the same time zone
Wisconsin.
as you. Wisconsin. But people that they say they're double jointed, but there's not really two joints there. What it is people they say that they can hyperextend a joint, like your ankles, your hips, shoulders, and wrists. You really can't well, I mean, I'm sure you probably could try, but it's really kind of hard to hyperextend your elbow or your knee, unless it's going backwards. You know what I'm saying? Like if you pull your leg behind you, but you can hyperextend something to a point, and then it'll stretch it, and or you could tear it. And normally they don't. Sometimes it depends on where you go to get treated. Sometimes they put an air cast on the joint or your ankle. That that hard plastic with that little. I guess it's like a little air spongy thing on the inside. That's an air cast. Some do a regular hard cast. I had, I think 25 years ago, I damaged my right ankle, and they did not do the proper treatment, and it kept the ligaments and tendons pulled, separated, and so I twist my ankle with a drop of a hat. I'll twist my ankle. Doesn't matter. And that's why it's important to get treated right away. Am I echoing to you guys?
No.
Oh, I am to myself. It drives me nuts.
Yes, you are really bad.
Huh?
Yes,
Stop
you are
talking
really
yourself,
bad.
then.
Yeah, see, now, how come not everybody hears it, but I am echoing? So
I don't hear it.
Knee problems.
That's because you're deaf. I hear it.
Huh?
I know, he's deaf. He's old, huh? So the knee is comprised of bones, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and muscles. Okay? So, and I'm sure everyone's heard of the ACL, the anticruciate ligament, the one that's in the back of your knee. A lot of athletes and runners can tear their ACL. It's very painful. So I'm told. Your LCL is your lateral collateral ligament, and that's on the side. And then you have your patella, your kneecap, and then there's your quadriceps tendon that holds it in place on the top. And then you have the patellar tendon. This is why I say I'm accident prone, because I've had so many injuries. I fell on the curb 27 years ago, and I totally ripped my kneecap right off and needed surgery. And what the doctor had to do was he had to shrink the tendons. He had to sew them back together and shorten them, because if I pull my leg straight, you could move my kneecap all the way pretty much to the side of my side of my leg, or the joint itself. It's kind of gross, but that's how you know you have knee problems. And sometimes you have to have them drained if you have fluid on your knee. So let's see. I already went through that. And a torn meniscus, that's another part that gets damaged. It's like a shock absorber in between. And a lot of people have a damaged meniscus. So there's 4 quadricep muscles on the front of the thigh that work to straighten the knee from a bent position. And your hamstrings, which run along the back of the thigh from the hip to help bend the knee. I got a question for everybody. What's the longest muscle in your body, if you happen to know?
Your jaw.
No.
Your jaw.
It's your sternocleidomastoid, and it runs from your clavicle all the way down to your thigh. It's one long muscle, and it goes in and they cross. You got one from each side, but it's your sternocleidomastoid. By the way, a little bit of useless knowledge.
That's what I was gonna say.
Hey, it's a lot of useless. Hey, I have a lot of useless knowledge in my head, especially from shit that I no longer use from nursing. I'm just saying, like not having to know how to memorize the valves of the heart, and it's toilet paper my ass, and that's the phrase we use. I'm just saying. And there's a song to memorize all of your cranial nerves. And I believe you have 12. But, hey, I'll go over that one day, maybe. But, yeah, there's 12 cranial nerves, believe it or not. And I believe I'm on my last nerve with a lot of people, and I wonder which one it is. Can you go over tendinitis?
Sure.
If not, we're going to. Wow, it's 2 whole sentences. It's a swelling of a tendon, a flexible band of fibrous tissue that connects muscles to bones. It's a common condition that affects your shoulder, elbow, wrist, hip, knee, and ankle. A lot of times people get tendinitis, and it's not because of tennis. They call it tennis elbow. I'm like, yeah, but I don't play tennis. But yeah, there's also a lot of people can get carpal tunnel, and that's in your hand and your wrist, and that's from overuse of your hand and your fingers. There's hold on. I'm trying to think of your ulnar nerve, ulnar tunnel. It's another word for it, and that's in your elbow. And you can actually pinch your the ulnar nerve in your elbow itself. It's painful, one, and it can cause issues to your hands because of the nerve getting pinched. And that's what happened to me when I was in the military. And my hand would actually turn blue. It would cut off everything. And that's when they did they shocked my arm to check the nerves. Let's see, we talked about that. Owner. Let's see. Trigger finger is another one from having problems with the nerves in your hand. And it looks like you're holding a gun, actually. And that's why they call it trigger finger. Because it pulls your pinky, your ring finger, and your middle finger, and it draws them back. Let's see. I'm trying to think. You're not always. Some people can be born with no arches in their feet, and it sucks. But you could also fix the arch in your foot, and that's why they make those arch supports in your shoes. But you can also lose your arch and become a flat foot. But the other term for that is what's it called? I just forgot. The term for flat foot. Yes, it's plantar fasciitis. A lot of cops are flat feet because they're back in the day. Now they've changed the shoes that they wear. Like the military has changed to the Danner boots. They almost look like sneakers, but in a boot. And your arch can fall. Mine fell. And I wore flip-flops all the time because there's no arch in flip-flops. And so your body, and with the weight of your body, it can flatten your arch. And it's very painful when you go to put your arch back in your foot. So that's why they have those inserts. And you know the thing where you stand on the, like Walmart has it. You stand up on the thing without your shoes, and it'll tell you what your foot is. Have you guys ever seen those? With Kathy.
Yes, I've seen them.
You know that machine I'm talking about? At Walmart, you stand up on it, and it's got those soles like $45. Yeah, mine was $440. Now it's $330. My arch is better now, but believe it or not, when you go to get a massage, if they do your feet, you should check it out. If you have any illnesses or ailments, whatever, all of the nerves on the bottom of your feet, if you do a really good deep tissue massage, if you could do it to yourself, some people hate feet and will not touch their own feet. I myself, I really don't care. If I'm hurting, I will check it out. Okay. There is oh crap, my screen's like 900% here. They have that shiatsu rolling foot massager, but it has a little map of your foot, of what each area of your foot is for. And now watch, I'm not going to be able to find it.
I have that book here somewhere.
No, let's see. What's it called? I got to find out how to look it up because I'm like, not a foot map. Oh, what the hell would it be under? A picture of your foot that has like this area is for your liver, this is for your kidneys. Everything's on the bottom of your feet. It has a purpose.
I have one.
you've got. Oh, let me see this. Okay, this might be it. This might be it. Ha! I found it. I knew I would. So, no, that doesn't help me. Wrong picture. Let's see. Because you got nerves that go all the way to your feet, and I'm trying to find. This might be it here. When you massage the ball of your feet. So, well, this one has. I'm trying to find the back. Okay, the Baxter's nerve. It's on the heel of your foot, in the back, and it goes across, and that can help with plantar fasciitis. Damn it, this is not what I'm looking for, though. But if you know what I'm talking about, at least somebody does. Oh, this might be it.
What are you talking about?
Here it is. I found it. Okay, your left foot and your right foot have... Oh, no, they have pretty much the same thing. So, like, if your heel, on the very, very back of your heel, I got to open this really slow. Oh, come on. It's getting smaller. It's like you rub a certain area in your foot, and that helps your rectum, your knee, your small intestine, your descending colon, your kidneys, your spleen, your gallbladder, your shoulder, your right ear, your left. I mean, it has everything. And it will, that's why they massage every area of your foot. And if you use your thumb, I've done this. You do feel a little better, but you got to do it more than once. I take it. But you use your thumb, and you push hard, and you can just push it, do it in circles or whatever. It's Chinese foot reflexology. That's what it's called. It's called reflexology. I knew I'd get it sooner or later. But, yeah, try those. And you're supposed to feel better. And that's the same thing with why they do acupuncture. Here, let's look it up. I'm going to do the benefits of acupuncture because I really... Oh, sure. Acupuncture. I know I felt like a bowl of Jell-O after I had it done. And if you're interested in going to get acupuncture done, they should ask you what illnesses you have, what if you have depression, if you have high blood pressure. They will ask you every single thing because it depicts of where they're going to put the needle. So, I think. So the traditional explanation for acupuncture's effectiveness is that it modifies the flow of energy or your chi through the body. And there's no scientific consensus that this is actually its mechanism of action. But you'll see a lot of doctors, like at the VA, they told me to go see an acupuncturist and chiropractor. So the point of acupuncture is to promote and restore balance of energy. So if you have emotional disorders like anxiety, depression, IBD, nausea, vomiting, rheumatoid arthritis, migraines, Parkinson's, it's supposed to be beneficial for everything. And they usually leave it on for like 30 minutes. Yeah, it typically involves a comprehensive health assessment, which I thought was strange at the time too. And I got one done when I was in London, and they had a Swedish masseuse inside the Chinese acupuncture place And I swear to God, I thought it was a friggin' ball of dough, because a Swedish masseuse is exactly what you think it is. They use their elbows to massage you, everything, and you feel better. Yeah, it's usually no longer than 60 minutes, but normally it's around 20 to 30. And if you have a bleeding disorder or if you're taking blood thinners, check with your doctor before having acupuncture done. Because sometimes you may have bruising at the site. Because you know how they put the needles in it? There's a needle, it's inside a little tube, and they tap it with their finger, and then they pull off the, and you actually look, I felt like a porcupine as many times as they stuck me. I'm trying to think if you have to be credentialed. Oh, you do. But it's actually the National Certification Commission for Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine. That's where you get your license. But I do believe that's about it. So
I get it done. I love it.
Huh?
I said I get it done. I love it.
I did. I've had it done once. I'm gonna tell you something. That was the best $300 I ever spent in my life. But of course,
I don't have to pay for it, but I wish they would do it more often.
Well, here's the thing. I spent $300 because it was in London, and it probably cost $250, which is still a bit, but still. So I'm going to go ahead.
I didn't realize it was that expensive.
Oh, yeah. But it depends on your insurance company. They may pay for it. Hold on a second.
Really?
Yeah.
They do.
Pat, you want to – okay. So, like I said at the beginning of the show, we're going to start the last 15 minutes or so, whatever. You just can't make this shit up. And I actually checked it out on multiple articles, and this is true, that they did this. The CDC has now, actually they came out with this in 2016, I believe. The CDC came out with a zombie preparedness checklist, and they actually have products to buy for a zombie apocalypse. And it says, wonder why zombie apocalypse. Continue to live or walk dead on a CDC website. As it turns out, what began as a tongue-in-cheek campaign to engage new audiences, it has become an effective platform. So they have a blog talk, a preparedness for educators. They have a zombie preparedness poster, a novel, and there's actually a checklist of what to do and what to have. But actually where they got this from, I'm telling you, they can't make this shit up, so they're waiting for a zombie apocalypse. I kid you not, I saw a video on that, and I'm like, you've got to be shitting. And I looked it up, and it's true. Go type up CDC zombie preparedness, and boom, it pops up. But here's the reason why. This is actually why they started it, and it's because of Nostradamus. And I'm going to read you what Nostradamus said and how they got zombie apocalypse out of that. I'm trying to get to the part where he was talking about He's got 8 predictions, by the way, for the year 2021. And where did it go? It's the way he worded it was. Let me see if I can find it. It said like half dead walking and stuff like half dead, half alive, and it was weird. But that's where the CDC got it from. Was from Nostradamus. So now we have zombies to look forward to for this year. So if you happen to see something really stupid or hear it, send us the link so we can look it up, and we're going to do it at the end of each show, and because everyone needs a good laugh. Let me see. But that's about it. And if anyone, like I said, if anyone has any birthdays, anniversaries, or anything like that, let us know, and we'll mention it on the show. But that's it.
Did you see that the Dr. Seuss books are jacking up in price?
Yeah, because everybody on Amazon's buying them.
They got that Mulberry one for I think it was eBay for $100,000.
See, they canceled Pepe Le Pew, Mr. Potato Head, Speedy Gonzalez.
Why'd they get rid of Speedy?
Why? Because it's a negative connotation, whatever, of Mexicans being short, eating cheese, and saying "yiba yiba andre andre." But they say that.
Oh dear God.
Yeah,
and they say Pepe Le Pew is a rapist.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
I just seen a meme on that. If he's a rapist, then when is Biden's turn to get out of there, since he's going around sniffing people?
Oh, I know. But I want to find this because the way Nostradamus wrote it, I guess that's how they got zombie apocalypse out of it, because it says people will be walking around half dead, half alive. Okay, and they got zombie out of that. But I laugh about that. I honestly do. He said there's going to be a World War III, a UFO in the sky, what's it called? An asteroid supposed to hit Earth. So, yeah. Oh, here it is. It says, few young people, half dead to give a start, death through spite, he will cause the others to shine. And in an exalted place, great evils occur. Sad concepts will come to harm each one. Temporal, dignified, the mass to succeed, fathers and mothers dead, of infinite sorrows, women in mourning, and the pestilent she-monster. The great one to be no more, all the world to end. That's the little thing, and they got zombie apocalypse out of that. Wow. Yeah, and it's supposed to be a famine of biblical proportions, which we already know that. I mean, with the way things are going and everything, people are already starving, the locusts and all that crap. I mean, that's a given. But yeah, I'll show you. I'll send this to you, and it's really cool how he words things. Like for the for the famine, it says, after great trouble for humanity, a greater one is prepared. The great mover renews the ages. Rain, blood, milk, famine, steel, and plague. Is the heavens fire seen, a long spark running? To me, it sounds like he's talking about the end of the world. And then he predicted the Muslims leading the world.
For this year?
Yeah, and this is what he says. In the Danube and of the Rhine will come to drink the great camel, not repenting it, those of the Rhone to tremble, and much more so those of the Loire. And near the Alps, the cock will ruin him. And the camel is the Arab population that lives all over Europe and all that. But, yeah, this talks about a lot of shit that's really possible. Oh, it says we're supposed to have solar storms. And a comet will hit the Earth or will come very close. Like you could see it in our atmosphere. And, woohoo, this is my best one. A devastating earthquake will destroy California. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? They're saying, now, this is not just from Nostradamus now. I looked on the USGS, and they're saying that it's either going to be the San Andreas, the San Madrid, which is by Kentucky, Tennessee, that fault line that goes up there, and there's one other one that they said any day. They're waiting for one of those three to go. And if San Andreas goes, like the movie in San Andreas, the lower half of California would be gone. The San Madrid would split the U.S. in half. Well, not completely. It'll go up to, I would say, above Indiana.
Well, I heard that there's a fault line that goes up through Minnesota.
That might be the San Madrid fault line.
Yeah. I'm not sure about it.
Let me just look. Fault line. Fault lines map. Okay. Major fault lines in the U.S. We'll just go with that. Okay. Wow. Where's Minnesota? Minnesota is... You're the one that's close to the lake that looks like Florida, right?
Huh?
You're in Wisconsin. That's the state that's right next to the lake that looks like Florida, right?
Yeah, Michigan.
Okay,
Lake Michigan.
Minnesota's
right next to me, right by the nose of the arrowhead.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, let's see. It's a video. Damn it! I don't want to see a video. Yeah, I'm trying to look because it's talking about. Oh, here it is. The New Madrid fault line is the central United States. It's particularly dangerous, and it's the most active seismic area of the area east of the Rockies, and it runs from St. Louis to Memphis. So that's the one you're talking about. The New Madrid fault line is known for some of the most violent earthquakes to ever hit the U.S. So that's the one, and this is about every 500 years they have one. And it's been almost 1,000 years since the New Madrid fault line. And the Ramapo fault line is in New York. And it runs 70 miles through New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. So those are the three fault lines you're talking about.
There's none that go through Minnesota? There's none that go through Minnesota?
Minnesota?
Yeah.
Not that I know of. But what this map here, Let me see, fault lines. We must have. Oh, we do have fault lines. Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hell, there's 5 fault lines through Kansas. But yeah, that's the predictions for this year, supposedly. So, if you thought last year was jacked up, just wait till this year. And in all honesty, I'm ready for a zombie apocalypse, damn it. Oh, and wait till you hear our You Just Can't Make This Shit Up tomorrow night, because this was actually said by a representative, which is more ignorant of a zombie apocalypse. Let me just tell you. So, and we got trace minutes left.
Yep. Well, it was very informative and another great, awesome show as usual, Kim. I really appreciate
Thank
it
you.
as usual. And I do like the the ending.
I told you we need a good laugh. You know?
Right. And
we
Lorna,
might use Bidenisms.
And Lorna, we always appreciate you calling in and participating, even though you sleep half the time.
I was ready to. I'm tired.
Shit, I'm not sleeping.
But,
I slept most of the day.
Everybody have a good night.
That.
And God bless America, our children, our veterans, first responders, our troops, and God bless the Defenders 7. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.